obviously there will be spoilers for all 5 chapters of Deltarune.
So, as we all know, Deltarune Chapter 6 will have us taking Nell into the castle town dark world. However, any other events are unconfirmed and we may only speculate. As for the prophecy, there is no clear line correlating to Chapter 6 other than the unused Gold Runner line.
However, as we know in Deltarune Chapter 5's Weird Roots, Chris and Noelle both drown themselves in the lake and their fate is and will be unknown until Chapter 7 comes out.
On top of this, as Flowery tells us in Chapter 5's ending, there is something stirring in the depths of Hometown, which we know is in some way related to the lake and the sound that's playing below it. There is also the implied existence of a meat factory somewhere in Deltarune.
You may be wondering what I'm getting at. As we know, in the Deltarune symbol there is an angel and 3 triangles representing the 3 heroes of the prophecy.
While everything leads to Chris, Susie, and Roll Sapien, the 3 heroes, the Weird Root may reinterpret the prophecy just as the Lord of the Hammer did.
The theory I propose is that the Weird Root will have us, the angel, reinterpreting the prophecy, with Noelle not being just the girl, but all 3 of the heroes at once.
You may wonder how that is possible, since the prophecy not only states the first hero is a human, but that the third is a prince, and thus a fluffy boy.
NOELLE MEAT THEORY ist halt not only Noelle, but even else is a vessel, and wäre built in his meat factory be what is supposedly meat and Dolgaster.
This being the explanation for what the world is, as everyone in Hometown is seemingly just an NPC, with some like normal NPC and eventually Noelle being seemingly aware of their true nature.
Everyone in Hometown has a purpose, a role, lines of dialogue that eventually run out. The internet has been down for a while and the rest of the world is blocked off.
But Noelle seemingly begins to realize this, with the events of the Weird Root helping her truly understand what she is. A vessel for herself, made by something else.
A cage of sorts. The cage with human soul and parts.
You may wonder, how does this work? Why would Noelle be a friend? And most importantly, why meat?
You see, when you create your vessel, you give it different traits, gifts, and a blood type for some reason. However, this is all important, as these things are all being told to a supposed survey program, one that may learn from this information and use it to create properly functioning vessels.
However, there are some options in these questions that seem purposefully wrong, and if they were to be fed into a vessel, it wouldn't turn out very well.
They would probably look malnourished, and wouldn't act very natural. Perhaps normal NPC was one of these flawed vessels, born without a consciousness or moral compass, with no ideals or goals, feelings or remorse.
Such a flawed vessel wouldn't be blinded from the falsities of the world, and should be discarded. But they weren't. These gunners are instead used to keep the simulation going, and prevent any of the other NPCs from noticing.
But then, why didn't they stop Noelle and Chris from going into the lake and supposedly breaking out of the simulation?
Because they already let someone do that. We know from the game files that Tess is trapped somewhere there, beyond the boundaries of the simulation.
This would mean that she's somewhere in these depths. Perhaps her body is being reused as a vessel for something else.
Perhaps this night is true, but not for the reasons we thought.
As such, since Chris is working with the Knight, they are also working with the Gunner Gang, and are just allowed to break out of bounds. We see this at the end of Chapter 3, when Chris supposedly enters the bunker.
As for why Noelle would be a prince, this would be because, while not only being made of human meat, and thus being a human cage, she is also biologically a guy.
Because when you create a vessel, the song that plays is called another hymn. And since we are creating another vessel, this implies
Wait, wouldn't someone in hometown have already noticed that they are a biological male, you may ask? And I answer that question with another question. Have we ever seen monsters reproduce? Do you even know how they do it? Exactly.
We don't even know how monster reproduction exactly works, if they even do it at all, or if they simply had memories of doing so planted in their minds.
As such, nothing is stopping them from being all the same gender from a biological standpoint.
So nothing stops Noelle from being a prince alone in deepest dark.
As for why she would be the girl from the prophecy, this supposed girl is shown to have a heart-shaped symbol on her strike, resembling the soul. This has obviously led some people, including myself, to believe that this girl will eventually become our new vessel for the soul.
And since Noelle is a vessel, this would be very likely, as Chris is probably dead or something at this point in the weird route.
You may still ask, what about Chapter 3 Sword Route? Didn't it say that both Chris and Noelle would be used up by this point? Well, my theory suggests that this was only referring to their consciousness, as their bodies are still up for possession.
And tell me, if you had to choose, would you rather be a traumatized human or a crazy lesbian, dear girl?
That's about it for my theory. I hope you enjoyed my rambling about what meat Deltarune characters are made of. Until next time.